feeling shame, we can't be or accept that anything is good, even if it is, in your brain.
If you can rewire your brain to consider joy as essential, then you're going to want to seek that immediately.
Does anyone ever think joy is essential versus
I
optional?
need to seek joy today or it's not going to be a good day. Like, how many of us ever have that thought?
Welcome back to Fasting Through Faith. I'm Brianne Sims, RN, and I am joined once again by my good friends Chelsea and Teresa, and we are continuing our study on shame, the book called The Soul of Shame. Today, we are jumping into chapter 3 about joy, shame, and the brain.
Shall I read the summary again? They're all just so good.
I know, it really takes everything into a short synopsis. In the book, obviously, he goes over examples and all kinds of things that he's seen over the years and just what it all looks like played out. So I encourage you to go read the entire book. But if we're just talking about key points, this is very good.
So in this chapter, he examines the relationship between joy, shame, and the brain, showing how these experiences shape neural pathways over time. Shame activates threat-based systems in the brain, leading to withdrawal, self-protection, and disconnection. Joy, in contrast, emerges from experiences of being seen, known, and delighted in by another. It's not a fleeting emotion, but a relational state that fosters safety, openness, and integration. This chapter explains that healing shame requires more than insight. It requires repeated experiences of joy that can reshape the brain's patterns. When joy is consistently practiced and received in relationships, it weakens shame's dominance and restores emotional flexibility. The brain learns through repetition, making joy a powerful agent of transformation when embodied regularly.
Point. Joy is rooted in relational safety and delight. And he talks a lot in this chapter about how attachment and being attached as a small child. So if children don't have good relationships with their parents, or parents are busy and they're not getting those facial expressions and the eye contact and the body language that says, I want to be with you, I'm
happy to be with you.
Yes, I'm happy to be with you and you're safe. Then instead of
and you're okay.
Yes, and you're okay, and there's grace for mistakes, right? Instead of you're a failure all the time. So when they don't receive that, then fear-based and threat-based experiences and relationships and systems begin to develop and
shape the brain.
Yep. Which, when you think about that,
systems.
if you look back at your past life and know you can identify those repeated emotional experiences that you remember from the child, and you kind of understand why you see through the lens you see now
today.
Because of how those repeated words that were spoken, not even necessarily towards you, but around you, and that energy that everybody was giving when they were speaking that, or whatever's going on, you get a real good understanding of how that induces joy or shame, and why even as a kid you start developing those patterns.
Those fear feelings. I like how it says actually threat-based systems in the brain. It's just like, I mean, as a child, like, you're sensing a threat in your environment, and then your brain is interpreting that one way, and the enemy is twisting that to create these fear-based systems through shame in your brain.
All right, so let's go back to feeling relationally safe and delighted in, because that goes on to our first question. Have you experienced moments of being fully seen and accepted by another person? And what did that do to your mind and your heart, and how you then started thinking about other situations? So what are some moments where you felt seen and accepted and understood?
I think there's a lot of moments, I mean, over your life. When you begin to focus on the good, things, the good moments, a lot of amazing moments with God or with Jesus, with His Holy Spirit and His presence, and Him affirming things like we were talking about through the prayer counseling, prayer journaling, those kind of things, spending time with Him, renewing our minds and hearing truth over and over again, and feeling the feeling of His delight in us and the peace that He gives us is like transformative. and you keep going back to it over and over and over again. And what does that do? I mean, the example in the book that he's giving about this girl being part of a new family where they have these relational connections begins to rewire her for connection where she didn't have that before. And so it's the same kind of thing. Jesus comes into our lives and rewires us for that connection, that joy bond of connection with him and then with others through that. And I think we also get that through community with our friends, like the three of us at the circle,
Right. Our
affirming
spouses.
being with each other. Yes. And then our spouses, our children, other family members, like,
Yeah. If you don't have any relationships where you feel connected and affirmed, I would say start praying and asking God to bring some into your life because they're crucial. We all need them.
Yes.
You know, it's part of being able to thrive and survive is of having community of people that appreciate you and are gracious with you for who you are and the work that God is doing in your life and what he's walking you through.
And I think even along the way, God places those few people to speak truth and hope into our lives and hearts, even as like young children or like maybe it was a coach or a school teacher or a Sunday school teacher or something. But I think most people can point back to one time when like this person spoke into my life,
impacted me
like in a huge way. Like it really hits your heart or your mind, like in your core being. Like so many people, you hear people talk about that, you know, all the time. And I feel like that's what he's talking about right here. Have you experienced moments of being fully seen or accepted by another person? And when we are, it's like, okay, I want to be around that person again because that was a joyful connection with them when I was really seen and heard and felt like it was okay to be me. Those are some of the most beautiful moments. And also be in that safe space for people, you know, also.
Right. And I think that's the importance of
forth.
in parenting, you know, is valuing and appreciating each child for who they are and encouraging those things about what's different about them and helping them to explore and grow in some of those places where they're different and how God created them to help create that sense of just delight in who they are and how God created them instead of wanting to make sure every kid fits into this behaviorally appropriate box.
Instead of comparing them to other people.
Or comparing,
Yeah, appreciating their differences.
There's a reason that comparison is called the thief of joy.
Yeah, and aren't we all bad at comparing with one another? Because we see something good in someone else and go, well, I wish my life was like that, or I wish I was like that.
And then what does that
why
trigger?
aren't you like
shame!
that?
Shame!
What does that
you don't
immediately
feel that
trigger?
way.
Yes, it immediately triggers shame when you have those thoughts because you're not even being judged by others, you're judging yourself. Yeah, by the wrong standard.
Right. We're bad about that as
I
Christians
know, and then with
especially,
that,
right?
then that shuts us down to connection with others.
Which is the next question. How do you typically respond when you feel emotionally safe versus when you feel threatened? Yeah,
it's completely night and day. Either the switch is on or it's off. That's really, I think, how it feels. Well, that's how it feels to me.
He was talking about you feel creative, confident, you feel peace, you feel joy. Yeah, you feel the willingness to be open and connect with one another. And it's very interesting. And we know the kinds of circumstances where we can feel that way. And then we also are aware of situations where we feel threatened. Yeah, and how we shut down. And so dealing with the shame in our lives will help us to better not feel threatened in situations and be able to take the safety that Jesus gives us and that we've experienced in other situations and be able to bring it into the situations where we don't feel that way and apply that into it. Looking forward to that time.
The rewiring that we need. And I can't remember if it was in this chapter or somewhere else, but basically the idea that healing and overcoming these areas of shame is not just a one-time thing. It's a consistent thing day after day after day. Like, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that God says so often in the Bible to continually come to me, renew your mind day after day, day by day, over and over and over and over again. He's like, he knows how we're wired. He knows how he created us. We need his truth every single day to
Right.
stay grounded in that
Mhm.
attitude of connection, joyful connection with him and with others.
Mhm.
Which is why so many people talk about all the time, I got to start my day with God.
Right.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's going to establish that good, joyful connection,
Mhm.
at the beginning of your day. And so then he's with you throughout the day because you've already renewed your mind in the truth that day.
Yeah.
Versus when you get up and you see something and you're judging yourself
Mhm.
in comparison to them,
Mhm.
maybe on your phone.
Right.
I'll say that out loud.
And we should
Right
start
on
our day
it.
with our phone.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you're judging yourself. And what do you immediately start your day in? Shame. You're
Yep.
frustrated, angry with yourself all day long. You're not feeling connected with anyone. Why is that?
Mhm.
We didn't start our day with the truth
Connected.
and that joyful connection. Starting
Mhm.
our day in shame and negativity instead of joy, our
Mhm.
true identity, who he's talking to, what he's talking to us about and who he's calling us and what he's calling us to do.
Which, if you can, as the next question, if you can rewire your brain to consider joy as essential, then you're going to want to seek that immediately
True.
instead of seeing it as optional.
Yeah, that question was so challenging
Yeah.
for me. It stopped me in my tracks. I was like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
do I? What emotions arise when you consider joy as essential rather than optional?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Does anyone ever think joy is essential
Like,
versus
I need
optional?
to seek joy
No.
today or it's not going to be a good day. Like, how many of us ever have that
Right?
thought?
I was just like, my jaw just like hit the
Hmm.
floor. And I was just like, okay, I need some serious rewiring
Yes.
in my thought patterns in my mind because joy is essential
Right. So it's
to live in relationship.
Mhm.
And who better to get that joy from first thing in the morning?
Where does all joy in the
Yes.
universe come from?
Yes.
Mhm.
You can only look at so many cat pictures.
But he's the one who created them. He gives us
He
those
did.
joyful cat pictures, okay?
Yes.
But at the same time,
But-
we're recognizing that he's the one behind all of that.
Yep.
That's lasting joy.
Yes.
The
True
cat
joy.
picture may not be
True
lasting.
joy. No.
And what's
Only
in
to
between
be
all
honest.
those cat pictures?
Right.
Like, I want to go to the one who gives me actual joy.
Right.
Yeah.
So finding things in the morning that can help to establish that joy connection.
And throughout the day
Right.
and in the evening, like, can we consistently seek joy, train our
Mhm.
brains to seek joy and connection with God instead of the enemy training our brains to seek shame and negativity
And to seek
Mhm.
noise.
Yeah.
and just noise.
Mhm.
Which music, I was just thinking praise and worship is one of the ways
Yes.
that is a good way to connect us with
Mhm.
God and
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even when we don't feel like it, maybe forcing ourselves to get up off of our hiney and dance or something when no one's looking, right? Like
Off of our phones.
establish,
Yeah. Establish joy not only in your mind, but also in your heart and your body
yeah,
by singing and dancing.
right.
There's a
Right.
reason why it's in the Bible so often.
Yep.
That's right. Right. Worship. and
God knows
praise.
what's good for
Mhm.
us. How might shame have limited your capacity to receive joy from others? Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
We all-
Entirely.
It's yeah. I'm like looking back over everything. How many moments of joy did I miss out on because I was feeling shame?
Yeah.
Right. Or you kind of see the whole situation,
Mhm.
what was really going on because you were so focused on yourself.
Instead of what
That's
was
what
really
is-
going on.
Yes.
That's what's really hit me is about how much shame makes you self-focused instead of others focused.
Mhm. Which is why they say you can't see other people's pain if you're feeling too much yourself. You can't even see other people's joy in the moment if you can't allow yourself
Mhm.
to find that joy in the moment.
Right, exactly. Because when we're
Mhm.
feeling shame, we can't, this is what I wrote, we can't see or accept that anything is good, even if it is.
Yeah.
Just we're completely blind to it
Mm-hmm.
when we're stuck in that shame spiral
Mm-hmm.
and that negativity
Absolutely.
about self and everything else around us.
Mm-hmm. In what relationships do you feel most at ease and emotionally present? Or we don't feel judged or shamed, right?
Exactly. That's
Or we
exactly
feel
it.
encouraged, or
Yeah.
we feel valued and seen, heard,
Mhm.
cared for.
Mhm.
All those words make us feel accepted.
Yeah.
Appreciated for who we are and what we
Exactly who you
bring to
are.
the table, right?
Yeah. And those are the places that you want to go back to. Those are the people that you want to continue to be around
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
there's that openness
Mm-hmm.
and connection.
One of the applications exercises we were just talking about, retraining ourselves, said to practice a daily pause to notice one moment of joy, however small. Do you remember that study we did that one time that it was like a webinar that we did about joy?
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about writing a story out where you felt joy in a situation and going back to that and just trying to relive and re-experience what you felt and what was going on and enjoying the moment. That's actually one of the
Of that joy.
application exercises here.
Yeah.
And so that also is a couple of good resources. There's an organization called Thrive Today, and they do a lot of joy building, and they have joy building exercises you can do, webinars you can watch. And then Deeper Walk International also has, they kind of work together, but they both have books about joy, having a joy-filled marriage, raising joy-filled children, just how to find more joy and how to do this rewiring process. They have very good application. They talk about the neural pathways, just like Curt Thompson is. So it's a very, it's a very helpful
It's a lot
extra
of the
tool.
same kind of things as far as like healing. The last question is, what would it mean for you to intentionally practice joy as a part of healing your brain and rewiring it? How are you going to intentionally practice joy this week?
Yeah. And if you don't have any idea, ask Jesus.
I was just going to say,
I need to go home and ask.
ask.
So, Jesus, what are some things that could bring me more joy?
Yeah,
what are some things I could do?
Yeah, how do I connect with you in joy and with others around me instead of being stuck in the shame? And now, what triggers the shame and how do I trigger joy instead? Yes.
What does joy look like for me, Jesus?
And if you have no idea, then ask him to bring it to you.
That's right.
Ask him to show you.
Exactly.
Or brainstorm with some friends.
Yeah.
What do you do to help you?
Yeah, that's really helpful too. Yeah. And the other thing too is just ask him to make you aware of the things in your everyday life that bring you joy.
That we don't even notice.
That we don't notice. Yeah, things that we can be thankful and grateful to God for in the moment. Because when your heart is grateful, it's hard to be cranky and complaining and focused on yourself when you're grateful for what God's brought into your life in that exact moment. Whatever that, however small, whatever that looks like.
Makes me think of, we just taught the story of Paul and Silas in our kids program this week. And in the midst of their trial and their hardship, what were they doing? They were in prison. They just got beat. They were praising God and they were singing. And what a testimony that was to the other prisoners. And so, yeah, it's what can we find joy in the midst of even the hard things? We're not good at that. I'm not good at it. And being, like you said, being thankful and grateful, I think gratitude is a huge part of that. It's a really good point. So maybe it's just stopping every hour or something. What's something I can thank God for at this moment?
Yeah. Or asking him to help you recognize anytime that you're feeling feelings of joy. Like maybe you've just forgotten what that actually feels like or looks like, and you just need reminded. But he will show you. He'll be like, hey, you're feeling joy right now. Remember what that feels like? Yeah.
Making those places come back to life.
Yes. Bringing your heart back to life in ways that the enemy has tried to keep it dormant and disconnected.
Right.
That is what we're fighting. We're fighting the enemy because we want to be joyful and connected, not dormant and disconnected. Well, thank you so much. We hope this encouraged you. We hope you'll go out and find ways to have experience joy this week. Partner with God in that, because I know that he has joy and delight in store for you. So we hope that you will go and share this with a friend or a family member who also needs some joy.
Go be joy for someone else, maybe too.
Yeah. Bring joy to someone that also brings joy to our hearts and to God's.
Go fast and be blessed.